Swain Event and SwainEvent.com, fueled by Dead End Barbecue. And we go to our video interview today with our guy Brent Dougherty of 104.5 The Zone, 3-hour lunch, joining us. What's up, Brent, man? Good morning.
Man, I hope you guys hear me. Do you hear me?
Yeah, man, you sound great, man, as
Oh,
always.
perfect.
Man, thank you for joining us, man.
This world of Zoom, man, you never know. And we just moved recently, so I lost well, I didn't lose. I just can't locate. So maybe that's the same thing. My wires to like my external mic and all my broadcast equipment. So we're doing it grassroots style today.
Man, it's all good, my friend, man. All good. I understand. Sometimes you just got to roll with it. I know you do, man. You're a vet in this game. So, Brent, what's the feeling there in Nashville about the Titans? You got Julio Jones. We know he just adds a different element. Ryan Tannehill, he's been great for the Titans, but he's not getting the national respect. It seems like, man. What's the feeling there from the Titans fan in Nashville about this upcoming season?
Man, I think people are really excited about the upcoming season for sure. And when you look at the Titans roster on paper, barring injuries and things like that, that is kind of out of your control and affects most teams. On paper, they figure to be a team that can be in the mix late, and that's all you can ask for. With regard to Ryan Tannehill, it's funny about the national perception of him. I think people are still locked into what he was in Miami, which was a completely different thing than he is now. And if you look at the last couple of years, the last 2 years, he's the number 2 rated passer in the entire NFL. As Ryan Tannehill goes, the Titans go. But he and Derrick Henry fit so well together because I think Ryan Tannehill's strength is that play action game. And so you get that running game going, then you get that play action game, and you get those in routes from AJ Brown that he can turn into home run balls. I think Julio Jones in where he is in his career is a similar kind of thing. Talking to Greg Cosell on our show weekly with NFL Films, he said, Julio Jones, those in breaking routes, he's phenomenal still. And so that just fits what the Titans do. So, offensively, I think they're one of the better teams in the NFL. Defensively, last year they were awful. Can't get worse. But you bring in Janoris Jenkins and Christian Fulton from LSU is night and day different in terms of what he looks like on his body in his body. You bring in Bud Dupree, Jeffrey Simmons up front continues to get better. I think on paper, like I said, that this is one of the teams in the NFL that could win it.
Brent, I'm very disappointed that you went through that entire offense and did not mention the best fullback in the entire league, Kari Blasingame. No, I'm kidding. I went to high school with Kari and played high school baseball with him, so he's one of my best friends. So I always like to pick on people. Are you comfortable putting the Titans in that conversation with the Chiefs as one of the best teams in the AFC? I know national media members forget about the Titans when that conversation is had, and quite frankly, I think they're wrong for that.
I mean, they're in the conversation, but if you're in the AFC, Patrick Mahomes, you got to get through him to get to where you want to go, and he's just an unbelievable talent at quarterback. There's no doubt, and his ability to extend plays, and his receivers have the ability to run multiple routes on one play because of his escapability and to get outside the pocket makes it so hard on the defense. So you basically have to just full octane outscore them, and that's hard to do. Now, the Titans come at it from a different perspective because, the running back position have been devalued in the NFL for so long. The Titans went a different way with that because Derrick Henry is just one of those dudes. And so they kind of come at it from a old school style of football. So, maybe the thought is, you turn some of that clock and if you go back to the game in Kansas City in the playoffs against Patrick Mahomes, Titans were leading that game going into halftime, and Patrick Mahomes made one of his ridiculous plays right before halftime and got into the end zone and completely turned the thing. So that's the guy you got to get. Now, the Titans were able to get a win over Kansas City in Nashville. So, all you can do is put yourself into position in those kinds of games. And I think that's where the Titans are. So, if you can get into a game with Kansas City, obviously you're going to go through Kansas City because they're going to have that kind of record. But, if you can get into a 40-60 game, 50-50 game with them, then you don't know what happens based on turnovers and things like that. I mean, we saw it in the Super Bowl with Tampa Bay. They were able to get pressure on him. They were able to hold the edge with the defensive linemen, the defensive ends, and they were able to force some turnovers and some sacks. So, if you can do that with your defense, that's how you can get to them. Are the Titans that good defensively? I don't know. I mean, they were awful last year, so we'll see.
Only going to get better if you look at it that way. That's the way to look at the cup half full. Joined by my guy, Brent Dougherty, here on the Swain Event, host of 3 Hour Lunch. And, man, you got some help now, man. You, Babs, and Ron Slay, you guys have a good time cutting up, man. Y'all done a great job.
I'll tell you this. I mean, Swain, you come on our show. I've had to up my game, man, with the addition of Slay. That energy level that he brings. I mean, it's the same thing you saw on the floor in Thompson-Boling Arena. I mean, he just brings that energy to the microphone, and we love it. And I told Dawn the other day, I said, the addition to Slay has made her more of what she is, and hopefully it makes me more of what I am. And honestly, that's just a distributor. So, we're running the break down the floor, and I'm just throwing lob passes to those two. And we've been having a lot of fun on 104.5 The Zone.
Brent, what's the buzz? What's the conversation with your listeners and people that you've talked to there in Nashville regarding Tennessee's, quarterback situation? Obviously here, we have our own opinions and we discuss it. We right here closer to the fire. But I just want to kind of get your take on Tennessee football, what you have heard about the quarterback situation, what you have heard about, kind of the culture here, and how are your listeners, approaching this Tennessee football season?
Swain, I just, I'm anxious to see what this Tennessee football team looks like with Josh Heupel. We had a chance to spend some time with him down at SEC Media Days, and he's a personable guy for sure. And I think he's a complete opposite hire from Jeremy Pruitt, which is what they needed. I'm not going to get into, all the Jeremy Pruitt stuff, but with regard to this football team, I'm anxious to see what that offense looks like, and we talked to Velus Jones on and off the mic about what that offense looks like, and he's very excited about it in terms of the high octane, fast paced style, which I'm looking forward to seeing. Now, in terms of personnel defensively, as you guys know, I don't think that they have the depth to be able to deal with this fast paced offense. Because you're either going 3 and out or you're going to score a touchdown pretty quick. I mean, that's kind of where you are. So defensively, you're going to have to get that Gatorade real fast and get back out there. And I don't think they have the bodies to be able to deal with that. But from a foundational standpoint with regard to that football program, I think they're headed in the right direction. Talking to all the people that I talk with up there, and it's just going to take time. They have to figure out a way to not turn over the head coach position. I mean, it just it kills you.
Yep.
And so, with regard to the quarterback, I'm looking forward to seeing what Joe Milton has, because I'm convinced he's the guy, right? Like, and when you look back to the Michigan days, Michigan fan calls in and they want to tell you like, hey, y'all don't need to be excited about Milton. He sucked, all this stuff. Well, he really didn't until he hurt his finger, right? So he played really well until he had the finger injury, and he tried to play through it, and his play kind of fell off. So he gets surgery on that thing, and now he's like smiling all around campus. He's feeling good. It's two different offensive systems. So now you got a quarterback that's almost 250 pounds. If he can break containment and get out there around a 180-pound cornerback, what's going to happen there?
Yeah.
Michigan didn't want him to run. I think Tennessee will be glad for him to run. So, with regard to Milton, I think it's two different systems, and you can't really judge what he's going to do at Tennessee based on what he did at Michigan. The interesting question to me is, who's the second quarterback? Is it Hendon Hooker and you get some time for him as a changeup guy, or is it Harrison Bailey? And I know a lot of people were, down on him. I kind of liked him as a freshman, honestly, because I thought he had some real arm talent. He just had trouble making decisions quickly. But I think that's because you're a freshman and you're trying to figure it all out. So I'm anxious to see kind of what that pecking order is at the quarterback position. But it's got to be Milton first, right? And then kind of go from there.
Brent, what would you deem a successful year one for Josh Heupel?
I mean, what's the over/under win total? Is it 6? I think I saw the other day.
It was less than that. I thought it was 4.5 or 5.5. I don't know.
Dude, if it's 4.5, I'm going over all day long. You give me that number, I'm going over all day long. I think 6 wins. If you can get to 7, geez. And I know Tennessee fan doesn't want to talk in terms of 6 or 7 wins, but that's where you are. I thought that David Ubben had a great piece in The Athletic the other day where he was kind of talking with Middle Tennessee and Memphis coaches and Knoxville coaches, high school coaches, about kind of the difference in what's been happening with regard to Tennessee head coaches and staffs along the recruiting trail. And I think, say what you want about Butch Jones, but that guy was out. He was trying to solidify the relationships and things like that. Derek Dooley went completely the opposite way. Didn't even know where Lebanon was, according to one guy I talked to, which is amazing to me. And then Pruitt was such a negative personality type. He's just like the guy in the corner that just lost his puppy or something.
Yeah.
I think Josh Heupel has made a point to renew those relationships, even if some of these schools don't have SEC players right now. I think that staff has been real quick to get in with these high schools to try to kind of renew those relationships. And I think that's a positive thing moving forward. Now, does he have that kind of time to build that relationship? That remains to be seen. I hope so.
We hope so too, man, because then winning would be great for business, my friend.
No doubt.
And
no doubt.
Yeah, man, we need that, especially here in Knoxville. Brent, man, thank you so much for joining the program today. For those in Nashville listening to us right now, and those in the mid-state listening to us, and even if you're in Huntsville, I was in Huntsville a couple of months ago, and I was so happened just to turn on the radio, and I was like, wait a minute, that sounds like Don and Brent talking. I mean, you guys get all the way down to Huntsville, so it doesn't matter where you are. But if you want to check out Brent, how can they do that and check out you and Ron Slay, and Don Davenport?
Yeah, 4 to 7 Eastern is when we're on. 104.5 The Zone is the radio station. Check us out on Twitter at 3HL1045, and you can watch the show live on Twitter, Facebook Live. You can subscribe to YouTube and Twitch and all of those things. And I don't know if you guys can see this over my shoulder. I'm actually in my 14-year-old's room. He has a little plush Peyton Manning doll.
Yeah, we see it. Yeah, we see it. We see it. How about you go?
That's where we sit as a family, man.
Yeah, I see it, man. I like it. I like it. Now we gotta get that thing signed. And you big time, Brent, so you can get it signed.
Yeah.
You can get it signed.
Good luck with that, man.
Hey, man, thank you so much. I look forward to being on the show today, man, a little bit later.
All right, let's do it. And, we'll get Kari Blasingame up and running too, man. I love that guy.
Yeah, he's good. He's good. Hey, Brent, thanks, man. Take it easy.
See you guys. Appreciate you.
Appreciate you.